Rose real quick. I want to introduce Rose to you, Augustin. And Rose is here. We're glad that she's here on the show tonight. Rose is by far, she's been on her show before through the radio, through the phone. But I said, Rose, you know what? You're doing such a great job. What do you think about this situation right here, first and foremost?
How I feel about this is, first, it makes me extremely emotional because all these kids are told to be tough and just toughen up and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teenagers nowadays are told to be tough and go through everything. Well, here's the thing. A lot of kids try to be tough and they give up. And that's the thing. We don't want these teenagers. Kids are our future. And here's the thing. The suicide rate is skyrocketing because we need to toughen up. And we need somebody there for us, not to tell us to toughen up and just leave us alone.
Well, do you think that there are people there for you, Rose? I mean, your opinion on that?
Definitely. I mean, I've gone through a lot of things, especially with school, because I've had some trouble with school.
Sure.
And I've realized throughout the years since middle school and everything, there's so many people for me. And I'm glad I've realized everything because I've been told to toughen up and just, go through it and you're going to be fine. But at that time, I didn't realize it. But because of those people being there for me, I wouldn't be the person I would be today.
And why is that? Tell me expound on that a little bit. You wouldn't be the person that you are.
Because I've learned from the choices I've made in my life. And I've learned so many things. And those people, they were there for a shoulder to cry on or some advice. And that advice and that shoulder to lean on has just made me a stronger person. And I've learned so much from them.
Good. So you learn from other people that have helped you and been strong for you to give you the mental strength that you need.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Now, you in junior high, of course, now you're in high school, you're a freshman in high school. How was it in junior high on maybe some of the things that you have went through and maybe some of the problems that you have detected in your life?
Junior high was hard. I mean...
Why is that?
A lot of kids are going through changes. It's middle school. You just got from elementary to middle school. Everything changes. Opinions change, people change in general, and everybody wants to be cool. Want to be a cool kid or just to fit in. And their term for fitting in is to kind of break people down.
Wow.
And
good point.
I never fit in. I was more the person who, I'm just going to go my own way because my way and being myself is the best way. And, some kids didn't agree with that.
Well, why didn't you fit in? I mean, what do you mean by that? You didn't fit in?
I didn't have, the name brand clothing or, I just didn't act like them. I was more of my own person and, I had my different personality. Everybody was so similar to each other and I was a little bit different and they didn't like that.
But did that, you talk about name brand clothing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did that affect you at all? Did that make you feel, did you care?
When I started middle school, I didn't care. It's a name brand type clothing. What's it matter? But throughout the 3 years I was at middle school, it got to me at one point.
Sure.
But because those people I said that that were there for a shoulder to cry on, they made me realize again. They kind of snapped me back to reality. I don't need name brand clothing or anything.
Wow. So you had friends that made you feel that you didn't need the name brand clothes and that you were doing what you were doing because in spite of what everybody else was saying or made you feel. Mm-hmm. And you felt you rose above that.
Yeah.
Well, how let me ask you this now. Here, think about this, Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you rise above it and why can't other students rise above that? Or why does it affect them and not you?
Because some people aren't open with their opinion on how they feel. Some people are extremely shy on their opinion, and they don't speak their opinion. They try to be different, but they're extremely shy on
you
things.
Speak your opinion.
Very much so.
Is that right, Mama? Oh, yeah. All right, and we're going to hear from Mama, too, here, who was kind enough to bring these for you. So an opinion's good, and being vocal's good.
Definitely.
And like I said, within reason, of course, not being disrespectful, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But you have that to where you were headstrong.
Yes.
And you weren't going to let people dictate to you. So talk about this. There's maybe somebody listening tonight.
Mm-hmm.
How can you give them the intestinal fortitude that they need to take a stand and not worry about what other people think?
My advice to them, I guess I should say, is here's the thing. This is middle school, this is high school. And these people's opinion on, clothing or the way you have your hair or anything like that's not going to matter in 20 years. What's going to matter is, you having a family, a good job, anything like that. Those opinions, in a way, are going to build you stronger. And they are going to make you the strongest person, because I know they did with me.
Wow. So, see this? The pulse of a teenager. Do you hear this, folks? We need to change America and how we look and have people that are going to just be headstrong, not to be rebellious, not to go against that, but adults that view teenagers that they meant. All teenagers are little adults. That's all. That's it. They got a very bad brake. They got a very fast accelerator and a bad brake system. I mean, that's all there is to it. So here's the thing: being a teenager, watch this. Being a teenager isn't easy today than it was whenever I was a youngster. I don't know about, we have some old timers in here, Dustin and Aaron, Aaron Sands. And he's even older than all of us. He's as old as dirt. But the teenage years are now and always will be those strange in-between years when you are neither an adult or a child. So you ever hear this, Rose? I mean, Hannah, and this is going to be a good show. I can feel it already. But you ever hear that? Well, quit acting like a child. Grow up. You need to be an adult. And it's sort of like that push-pull and pulling you apart all the time. You feel like no identity. You feel that way ever?
Yeah, especially with going through high school. I just started my freshman year, and I've already had, I've had some struggles. But,
You had some, like what? Can you explain on that?
Just some people's opinion or how they treated me, or I didn't have all the clothes that they wanted. I don't understand through these teenage years why clothes is such a big deal. Clothes help define you and how unique you are.
Yeah.
And people have been judging and everything, but...
So that's what it is. That sort of gets to you. That's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that, Rose, let's back up a little bit, because you've sort of been a great inspiration to me, by the way. Okay?
Thank you.
And I get inspired by teenagers. I mean, I'm like, wow, they just said that. Wow, where did they come up with that? I'm like, I was playing with G.I. Joes in my Intellivision, my Atari. They're like looking at us like, what's going on? Atari, what is Atari? I played with, the thing that I'm saying, when we did an assembly in your school, okay, back last year.
Yes, sir.
You had something that you were struggling with at that time whenever we did the assembly, and then you decided to change something in your life. And does change really mean anything to you?
Change means everything. From the beginning of this year till now, I have changed so much. And people may not realize it, but how I think, how I look at others, how I just look at life has changed so much. And it really helped when you did come to my school, because something when you are speaking and showing us everything at that assembly, just something clicked.
Really?
It's hard to explain how you feel when it just had such a huge impact in your life.
Wow. See, Rose, listen to me. You have a great head on your shoulders, just like I said, Hannah, we were talking about this earlier, is that you got all these things that you're saying, and the change that we need to make. And then, you know what? We need to have and start a chain reaction of other teenagers taking a stand and saying, I don't care what you, and you pretty much got to the point is, I don't care what anybody says. You've got to pretty much divorce yourself from public opinion.
Definitely. And public opinion, it can be important at times.
Sure.
But you have to realize who you are. You cannot lose your identity. You can't just turn into just like everybody else. You can't be just another statistic or anything like that.
Sure. Well, what I always say is that you're either a tragic statistic or a triumphant success.
I completely agree with that.
And if you don't, then what's happening, it's all by the choices. See, we're measured by our choices. That's our fiber of our being. Whatever choices we're made is going to determine our consequences, it's going to determine our future. If we have bad friends, it's going to take us down a bad road, because you are or soon will be exactly what your friends are.
Yeah.
And then you decide, now how about choice of friends? How do you determine your choice of friends?
In middle school, I kind of just at first started along with the group of friends I always had, but they started changing, and I realized.
How did they change? Like for the bad?
Bad.
Okay, how would they start changing?
Drugs, foul mouths, I should say. A lot of cussing, so many things, just their opinions and how they treated others. They became more bullies instead of people to build you up. And I never really wanted to change into that. The one thing I said to myself going into middle school was, I'm not going to change into one of those people that are going to bully or bring down somebody.
Wow.
And I kind of kept with that through my whole middle school years, and definitely through high school now. But that really helped me through a lot of things. I'm just not going to be one of those people. And I refuse. And through those times of extremely tough times, I should say, it really helped. Just for me to sit down and think, what did I say the first day of 6th grade year going into middle school? I wasn't going to be like one of them. And that really got me through.
Wow, you weren't going to be. You know what? High school is real life and middle school is real life, but it's not the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And you said, and that's what we need, more young people like Rose that are out there that you're listening, is don't go with the flow. Anybody can go with the flow, but it takes somebody with guts that takes a stand and turns against negative decisions. And Rose, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it right back to you. But Stacia, I want you to come up to the mic real quick. So we got